Oh, you make it look so easy, so you do. When you're trying to go arms as you do. Now that you're making your way through, well, I don't mean to pry. Look at you, for me to any you. Anywhere but here will do. Oh, anywhere won't you take me there? I'll take any old excuse. You call it any way that you see. Oh, I once looked good, it don't make any sense now to me. And you say like begging to leave. How I can sound so bitter, still ask of you so sweet. But anywhere but here will do. Oh, anywhere won't you take me there? I'll take any old excuse. Oh, anywhere but you will do. Oh, anywhere, won't you take me there? I'd take any old excuse to take after you.
So my name is Solus. I'm an artist from Dublin, and I've been an artist, full-time artist, for about 15 or 16 years, and it's just a brief overview of what I've done in that time. Obviously I can't cover everything, but it's just a brief overview of how I started and where I am now. So, I started around, it says 2007 there, but it was 2007, 2006. When the recession came to Ireland, I was working in a 9-to-5 job, and didn't really suit me. I was able to do it, but it wasn't really, I knew it wasn't really what my passion. And as you know, in the recession, a lot of companies closed. The company I was working for closed. And I was watching online and reading about this street art wave that it was coming, like punk rock or like pop art. It was coming in a wave, you know. It was like happening all over the place, and I really felt like it was something that I was attracted to. I was magnetized to, and I was a fairly quiet, introverted person, but I had a lot of busy mind, and I had a lot of ideas, so I was able to communicate visually rather than saying it out. So I found that this was a great way to communicate, to talk, to get my ideas out of my mind, and it was almost like it was therapeutic. And so that basically took up all of my days and nights. I just jumped into it, and whenever I wasn't painting, I was thinking about painting, ideas to paint. And I was going through a particularly tough personal time around this time as well. And I found that I had a choice to, continue in this dark place or to follow my passion and create. And I found when I was creating, it really helped me in so many different ways. So I spent all my time creating, and so I started off going out and painting small pieces around Dublin. I had a theme seemed to come through my work, which was like a boy in a man's world with the big boxing gloves, like a misspent youth almost. I didn't intentionally set out with that map, it just came out through my work. And it's strange. I had no pressure at the start because nobody knew who I was, and I was just going out and painting. And I had set up a social media page, and I couldn't believe that people were taking photographs of it and tagging me. And the first time, then a gallery got in touch and asked me, did I want to be in a group exhibition? And it was just strange. I just wasn't expecting that to happen. I was just doing it because I enjoyed it. It's like some people like to play golf, and I liked going out painting. And so I got busy doing it. Got busier and busier as time went on. Organically kind of got busier, and there was gigs happening. I was invited to paint at live events and stuff. So I wanted to paint internationally, and I'd probably still be sitting around waiting for an email to come in if I had waited for an invitation. So basically, I just started to reach out to people, book flights, went to New York, hooked up with some people that I was friends with on social media, and began painting in New York. They were just like introducing me to people that were curating wall spaces, and it just kind of happened like that. So top left is a wall in Brooklyn. The next one is Little Italy in New York. So I had got an email from a collector, and he wanted to commission an art piece. And I painted that for him, and he introduced me then to these curators in Manhattan. So I painted in the Lower East Side. It's a funny story, actually. When I went to paint that, the building owner, the guy who was taking, I don't know what they're called, they take care of the buildings. And he said I couldn't paint there. And I said, but I've flown over to paint here, I have permission. He said, no, you can't paint there. And I had everything ready, and then it's one of these, because it's in Little Italy, it's one of these guys from the mob movies. In The Irishman, it's where the murder happens in this restaurant in Little Italy. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, is the guy who owns that, who was who was funding the mural event, and they dropped his name, and the guy's face just went white, and he says, "Paint whatever you want," and he ran. So the next one then is in Miami for Art Basel. I flew over, I left Dublin, it was raining and icy, and when I got over there everybody was wearing bikinis, and I've been back a few times now. It's on every December. Again then in the Lower East Side, the far right cowboy, this is at the Bushwick Collective, the Bronx, Miami, and then that was in a gallery in New York. And it's just something that all came from me kind of going over there and putting myself in front of everybody rather than waiting to be invited over. And after I had went over initially, the invitation started to come, and lots of projects came from it. But I had to take the initiative to go there at first and take the risk. Okay, so this is my proudest piece. It's it's hard to be proud of a piece as an artist because usually we're really self-critical of ourselves. And whenever anybody asks me what is my favorite piece, I always say I haven't done it yet, or maybe the next one. So it drives you to keep creating because you want to improve. But if I had to choose one, it would be this one. And this I painted in 2015. And if you were standing looking at that mural and you looked left, it was where the old CBGB club was, where punk rock originated. And that's Joey Ramone, one of the pioneers of punk rock. And I really loved his band, the Ramones, and their story. And they were really like bizarre band. Their lyrics were really people weren't ready for it, so they didn't get any radio time. And they toured continuously for 2,300 times. They played live, and they never changed their lyrics. They never did anything different. Many styles came and went, and they still wore the leather jackets and the ripped jeans. And they were singing about teenage lobotomies and I want to be sedated and stuff like that. And so the radio couldn't play them, but they never changed. They stayed true to who they were until the end. And after they split up, they all passed away within a year or so. And then they became really well known. They inspired so many bands and stuff. So I just really always liked their story. And so to get the opportunity to paint at CBGB's for the 40th anniversary and to paint someone who I really, really liked was my proudest piece. And so this is the painting of the mural. I actually collaborated with a guy called Crash, who's a pioneer of graffiti in New York. And he's in all the original graffiti movies like of the 70s, and they're painting trains and stuff. So to paint with him was really cool as well. I didn't really sleep the night before. I was so nervous. Below that then is a canvas that we painted, a canvas version of it. And that's in his studio in the Bronx. And then to the top right is my first solo New York exhibition, which was something that I was kind of always hoping to get, and finally I got it from all the hard work I was putting in over there. And at the exhibition, a collector that we both knew wanted to purchase this Joey Ramone canvas, and a day later Bono wanted to purchase it. So the gallery called the guy and said, look, we know you want the canvas, but Bono also wants it, and can we sell it to him because it'd be good for the artists? And he said, yeah, no problem. So Bono bought the canvas. I don't know what he did with it, but he bought it. And so that was like a pivotal time in the last 15 years of my career. And after that exhibition, I went on. I had another exhibition then in the Lower East Side in 212 Art Gallery. So yeah, here's some of the things that I got up to in New York. I was in lots of group shows with names that I really looked up to, Blake Rat and the New York Stock Exchange. I did a mural for HSBC, and to launch the mural, they rented out the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and I didn't realize. I turned up 2 hours late, and I was supposed to be the main guest there. And the mural was all over all the big screens, and it was amazing. Once I got there, and I was told, like, if you ever get a chance to go, you should go, because it's hard to get in there. And then I got an award from our Central. I got contacted by, I think it was called Elite Model Agency, and they wanted to use one of my murals for New York Fashion Week on their clothes. So they did a whole line of this kind of street art and graffiti mashup on clothes, and it was featured in New York Fashion Week. And then I went to Montreal for a solo exhibition. So yeah, I guess the moral of the story was I kind of made my own look. Like, I kind of went over and just put my work out there, and it kind of paid off. So yeah. So just moving on a few years then, the lockdown in Dublin, the lockdown around the world, and I was kind of developing my style, changing my style. I was started painting these ballerinas, and the idea was about elegance and strength, and all of like life balancing, all of the different aspects that you have to do. And I was using this new technique. It was kind of like a black silhouette with colors, and the colors really pop off a black background. So I was enjoying painting in this style, and the contradiction of the gloves with the ballerina kind of, resonated with people. It made for a good story, and kept making. This was the first large scale version of it I painted, and that was in a toy, and it was like an easing of the lockdown. So it was great to go down there. I hadn't been out really in a while, and there was an easing for a week or so. We got down there, got it done, and it was amazing. As you see, somebody's walking underneath with a mask on. The lady in the flower shop actually was wearing a patterned ballerina t-shirt the next day because she was getting lots of press about it. And this is a mural that I did that people might be familiar with. This was another project that happened during lockdown. I was approached by a lady, Cathy McGovern, who owns this home. And she had good intentions. She wanted to paint something colourful. Everything was very dreary, and she said that people passed by her house to go down to the 40-foot to swim every day, and she'd like to paint something. She had been in New York, actually, funnily enough, and she was on a street art tour, and that's where she saw my work. So she came back and contacted me, and I went to meet her, and I said, it's probably going to be taken down because it's the front of a house. I'm pretty sure it will be. And she said, I want to do it anyway, and it's my house. And I said, well, what about doing it on the back of your house? It won't be taken down. And she said, no, I want it to be here. So there was no talking to her. I knew it was going to be taken down, and I thought it was just like, we're going to put it up and it'll be taken down, and that'll be the end of it. But she was ordered to take it down, and I don't know how, but the newspapers got a hold of it, and just the next slide there. So there was all this coverage about it. I wasn't expecting it. I'm very aware that I go to neighborhoods and places that I don't live in, and I paint and then I leave. So they're left looking at this piece that I did, and I forget about it. So I'm mindful that I try to do something positive, or nothing political, nothing religious. Don't offend anybody. Try to do something positive. So that's what I tend to do whenever I'm painting a mural. I just try to do my best. All I can control is just try my best to do something. And I guess a lot of people resonated with the mural and the fact that it was her home and she wasn't allowed to paint it whatever way she wanted, and I was on the radio all the time. I was getting calls for interviews about this, and I couldn't believe it, because I just couldn't believe that people cared, so it was an unexpected coverage, and people were saying we're so sorry to hear that your art has to be removed, and I was saying, well, I couldn't have bought this publicity, it's really good. I mean, so there was parts of it that was really good, and she kept appealing it, and so it stayed up for a lot longer. So I think it stayed up for a year or more. I don't know exactly how long it stayed, but that was the story behind it. She later applied for planning. According to her, she got nobody objected, but still Dún Laoghaire Rathdown County Council just stuck to their guns, and they said you have to remove it. So that was the ballerina battle. So there's Cathy in the top right, and so she had to hire a painter to come and paint over the mural in the end, or she was going to be charged, I don't know, every 30 days it was going to, accumulate and be more and more and more. And there was a lot of coverage there as well. There was politicians there and everything. So yeah, it was a really bizarre event. I just never thought that people cared so much, but it was good that it got the conversation started about public art and the grey area of it, because there's not really places for artists to paint in Dublin, and if you want to, it takes about 6 months. You need to submit the design, and there's so much paperwork to it. So it was good that the conversation was started. And this is my kind of most recent activity. It was Chrissy Hines from the Pretenders, and it was really a fluke chance opportunity, because it was a piece that I painted in Dalkey about 12 years ago, and it remained there on the wall. It was obviously really weathered, because 12 years of Irish weather faded the paint, and there was chips coming off it, and around the face it was it was all damaged. But Chrissy Hines from the Pretenders had just happened to be in Dalkey walking by it, and she had just happened to have an album coming out called Relentless, and she thought that it fit in with the theme of her album about not giving up and getting up when you're knocked down. That was kind of the theme, and that was kind of the theme of the art piece as well. So her PR team got in touch with me and asked me could they use the photo of it for their album cover. And it was really easy for me, because I didn't have to do any work. I did it 12 years ago. And they just took a photo of it. And so they used it as the album cover of their album that's just been released very recently. And they're on tour at the moment. So they're using it as the backdrop of their tour. It was on the TV. I was getting texts from everybody saying, "Oh my God!" I didn't realize that people watched concerts on TV, but you're saying your artwork's in the background, and then she was in New York playing only a week ago or so, and then people were tagging me in photos of that as well. So yeah, it was a really chance opportunity that came. Sorry, there's a photo of Slash and Paul McCartney. Slash is wearing the t-shirt. So yeah, it was really cool, and a fluke really. Also, I got a bit of press, did an interview and a photo shoot with a newspaper. And yeah, that kind of brings us up to where I am today. And I suppose I want to talk a little bit about my drive and ambition. And people ask me what pushes me and why do I keep creating. And I'm terrified of having to get a job, because the last time I worked was last time I worked for a company was 2006, and I feel like I'm kind of unemployable. Definitely I can't work in the same industry I did then, it's completely past me, and I'd need to probably work for myself. But I love what I do, and I think having that fear is healthy, so it drives me to keep creating, constantly trying to improve, and yeah, so that's what drives me, and having short-term goals and stuff really helps. I think artists have tortured souls, they have to take care of their mental health and stuff, so creating helps. Trying to live a healthy lifestyle and stuff like that helps me anyway. And yeah, so I think that's everything, and maybe questions and answers, is there? Yeah. Questions if anybody has it.
I have a question. I'd love to know where you get your inspiration from, even just earlier in your career. I mean, maybe now if it works commissions, maybe there's a theme or they sort of shape you a little bit, but earlier in your career, and even now, where do you find inspiration? Because it is something that is up on a wall, say, and will be there, hopefully for a long time. So what's that thinking process, and or is it something you always want, something that you believe leave in, or that you want to make a statement?
I think it's. I actually saw a meme before that said if you take the COVID jab, you won't have to explain your artwork to people. Because it's so hard to explain, because it's like an amalgamation of so many different things that happen in your life. But yeah, it was like overcoming obstacles was like the main theme, and like positive, like the glass half full and stuff like that. And then inner strength is what the gloves meant. People always said, do you like boxing? But it was more about everyday struggle. Like life is a bit of a struggle, you know, and it's about putting on a performance and doing the best that you can. That was my idea behind it. So yeah.
I should have known actually. My aunt is an artist and always says like you wouldn't dare ask her what the meaning of a piece of work is. So, does anyone else have any questions here that they'd love to debate in the back?
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much. Really interesting and inspiring to hear about your work. So I just wanted to ask about your practice. It's kind of a related story. Like, would you like have a set practice every day drawing or something like that to keep it going?
I don't have a set practice. It changes all the time. I just finished a commercial mural for a Ballymore building company, so that took me out of the studio for a few weeks. Generally, like summertime is good for painting murals, wintertime is good for painting in the studio. And I tried to make limited edition prints so that, so that it's like streams of income that come, you know, and for people who don't want to like buy a painting because it's such a commitment, more expensive. So I tried to make prints, give them to galleries to sell. So yeah, I don't have like like set hours or anything. It's always changing. Tend to paint a lot in the evenings. I don't know why. It's like create space, to be in a creative space. Like when it's quiet, I feel more creative. Hi.
I'd love to hear more about just sort of how you sort of created your own opportunities. I think looking back, especially after so many years, it can be easy rather to see it as just sort of you stumbled upon these opportunities. I know that's not the case. Especially doing street art when it comes to the legalities behind it and stuff like that. Like when you're starting out, how did you kind of create those opportunities for yourself to get your work out there?
Well, when I started, it was really slow, so it wasn't like wasn't much happening. It was just going out and painting, and eventually I was in a group exhibition, and that was like the start. But that took a long time, you know. So it just grew organically, I think, from keeping creating and putting my work out there. And just by not stopping putting my work out there, people became more and more familiar, and I'm sure a lot of luck to do with it as well, you know. So I don't know if the formula, that's just how it happened for me. I don't know if that's, you know, a correct path for everybody to do. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's a little bit different.
I guess it's consistency, isn't it? Like you say, like when you see something like this, it looks like, I mean, such amazing success, but I guess it's plugging away the holes that like it takes time, right? That's over a number of years.
Yeah, and a lot of rejection as well, because you know, I set out and I contacted people about stuff, and they said no. Like there's a lot of that, but I just kept going, you know.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? I live near the graffiti wall or the mural wall in Grand Canton, and I just wonder what the etiquette is from, you know, the beautiful piece there, crouching, beautiful. But what's the etiquette from other artists of when to paint over? Because I'd love that it stayed forever.
Yeah, actually, I don't really know. I just think it's free for all. So,
Something seems to last longer.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's, I guess, like, it's a legal place, the only probably legal place in Dublin for artists to paint at the moment. So, they come along, and if they see a wall, you're supposed to try to do something better than what's there. But yeah, I might go down there next now after. Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean in New York, where I paint in the Bushwick Collective. It's like each wall gets 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
But down there, it's more
Yeah.
just whatever. Yeah,
Please do come back.
yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah, I'm curious to know about the tennis cover because, were you paid for that? With it having been something that was already there for like I said, 15 years?
Mm.
Or was it more the fact that, they kind of owned you because your work was going on their cover and you just got a lot of it?
I was paid for it as well, so yeah, yeah.
Just curious.
And they gave me tickets. They played in Dublin and stuff, so yeah, it was nice. But yeah, so yeah,
Only because it's like,
mm,
take that and
I know, yeah, yeah,
it's
it's
really, isn't it?
yeah, it's strange, yeah, yeah.
I'm just curious, how do you pick the locations that you have in New York? I know like Brooklyn's got like more of an artsy style, but like the different locations. And do you have anything planned for New York?
So I don't pick them myself. They have it's much more organized over there. They have curators in different boroughs. So the Lisa project is the Little Italy street art project. They take care of most of the Lower East Side, and then the Bushwick Collective are all in Bushwick, and then the smaller ones all around. So I just ask what walls are available, and they'll send me a photo if there's something available. And yeah, so then you kind of once you see the wall, you have to like figure out what to paint that will suit that shape. But yeah, it's much more organized over there than here, and they have street art tours all the time over there too. It's crazy.
Hi, Rachel, thank you. Can I ask, sometimes as an artist, you prefer people not to see while you're painting. You like to wait till the finished piece. So do you have a feeling that way? Like, do you prefer to paint in the studio where you can present the finished piece, or do you mind if it's real time outside, like a mural? Do you have your preference?
Yeah, usually if I'm painting a mural, I'll know exactly what it's going to look like, what I'm planning for it to look like when it's finished. But yeah, I don't like really being recorded or anything when it's in the early stages, because I'm still like trying to figure it out, and I'm usually stressed because I want it to, get to a point where I feel comfortable, and then I don't mind it being photographed.
So you feel vulnerable during the process?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I suppose following on from that, do people stop and chat to you while you're painting? I'm sure you'd be surprised how many people say they don't really like it because you're painting it.
Sometimes, mostly it's positive. Mostly it's positive, but everybody asks, "Are you Banksy?" Everybody asks that. Yeah. I just laugh. I just kind of, it's like the 15th person that said that today. But yeah, I haven't really had too much negative stuff. Maybe they say it behind my back,
Would you prefer if people didn't talk to you so we know if you ever see
No, people are like, they're really nice, but sometimes you, like for example with the Ballymore mural that I'm doing, just finished. We had a deadline, and it was like we had to be finished on that day because they're handing the keys over to the building owners or whatever, and everybody was stopping, and I like was like, they were really nice, but I was trying to, they just didn't know that I was in such a hurry to get it finished. So no, yeah, I mean, yeah, I was being really as polite as I could.
Any final questions before we go over here?
Just curious, I'm sorry if you mentioned it, what did you do before? And I'm assuming you were always painting or drawing or sketching, or did that just kind of happen at that point? Or
Yeah, actually, I never said I didn't study art, but I was like I was making sketching and stuff and drawing, and I was going around to petrol stations, changing out credit card machines and repairing, like hardware for point of sale. Yeah.
Unless there's any more, is there any final questions, or we'll just, one last one for Keith.
Sorry, this goes back to process. And you mentioned early on that you just had ideas coming to you all the time.
Mm.
And I'm just wondering now, how do you manage that flow of ideas? Do you take on one project and complete it, or do you kind of have a number going at the same time?
I'd have a number of ones that I'd kind of have like I recently just did a canvas that probably started the idea a few years ago. I just forgot about it, and then I was looking for something. I was like, oh yeah, maybe I can progress this a little bit. But yeah, usually I struggle to create something new all the time. It's difficult for it to be, there's only so many positions a ballerina can do, So yeah, I'm trying to add different variations to it, I guess. But yeah. But I have stuff saved that I will revisit sometimes.
Great. Well, we'll finish it up there. Thank you very much, Solus.
Thank you.